Having an exceptional relationship with your spouse affects every single aspect of your life and is crucial for experiencing your dream life together. I'm Rob Murgatroyd.
And I'm Kim Murgatroyd. Listen in on our honest, filter-free conversations as we navigate life and business together without killing each other.
You'll learn by osmosis how to transform the friction you feel in your relationship into a purposeful foundation that will allow you to grow together.
Welcome to the Fri-Date podcast.
What are we doing?
By the way, I'm going to leave that at the beginning of the podcast. A yawn going, what are we talking about?
I'm so tired.
Kimberly Terracotta Sunbeam.
Is this behind me?
Is who behind you?
The terracotta sunbeams.
Oh, I didn't know what you were talking about. Yeah, we do have a terracotta roof behind you, but it's not that sunny today. How are you today, sunshine?
I am tired. By the way, one thing I love about living in Italy is when you ask someone how they're doing, they tell the truth.
I don't feel good. No male. I was at my mother's house. She drove me crazy.
Okay, so we had July, we're in Greece. August, we went back to America. Kids back in school, birthday parties for the kid, for you, trips, organizing things. We wrote and recorded a course, and then our friends came for 5 days and stayed with us and sprung a wedding on us. Hey, we're getting married while we're here. And then next week we have our first Rob and Kim's Italia experience, which, by the way, if you want the info for our next one, the link is in the show notes for that. But all of these things, I feel like I have been on a non-stop hamster wheel. I am just running and running and running and doing what's next. Does this slow down? Does it ever? Or it just keeps going, right?
I think you just try and get rest in between the hurricanes that come through.
I just feel like it's been on since we arrived back in the city.
Well, this is a good segue to discuss what it is that we're talking about, which is having work that means something to you. So I'm going to try and back into this. You're such a 16-year-old boy. I want to know exactly what picture you had in your head. Don't lie. Tell the truth here. What was the picture when I said I want to back into this? Do not lie, because I'll know if you're lying. What picture? Who was naked and who was backing into who? Because you literally are a 16-year-old boy with a boner.
No, it actually wasn't that. There was like a little cartoon meme the other day on Instagram. It was like something Sophia would look at. Those little kawaii, those little cute little things. It was backing its butt up just in the funniest way. It would back up and it would toot, and it would back up and it would toot. And it was just so funny to me. It was fart humor.
You go that way too.
I do too, but this was more benign.
So I want to read a message and then I want to talk about it. So somebody sends me a message and they say, hey, I'm not sure if you're going to read this, but I'll try and write to you anyway. I'm Italian.
Oh, give them a shout out.
Okay. Mattia Posa, Matia, last name Posa. Mattia Posa.
You do read your Instagram and your TikTok messages.
That's a different conversation, but sometimes I do. Well, I'm not sure if you'll ever read this, but I will try to write to you anyway. I'm Italian, and some time ago I stumbled upon your Instagram by chance. Lately, I've been seeing a lot of people on social media that are trying to promote Italian culture, almost as if our culture was some trophy to flaunt rather than a personal enrichment. Additionally, most of these promoters tend to exaggerate what they see or they experience, sometimes in a positive way, but sometimes in a negative way. And without really, truly understanding the depth of all of this, without truly immersing themselves in the context of what it is to be a part of Italian culture and history and politics and economy, etc. However, I think you are a genuine exception. I find that the way that you promote our culture and share anecdotes to be very educational. You never exaggerate. If you notice something positive, you present it proudly. If you notice something negative, you present it in a constructive way. And if you notice something quirky, you present it in a sarcastic and entertaining way. But in all of those examples, you don't pass any judgment. So my wish for you is to keep this up. I'll continue to follow you, and I hope that our idiosyncrasies can be both fun and constructive for you and for Americans. And thank you for what you do. Okay, first of all, beautifully written for a direct message.
And for somebody who loves words of affirmation, that must be gold for you.
It was gold for me. Okay. So my friend Matt, as I'm writing this book, every single time I say something, now I know, I'm looking back at him and I know what he's going to say. And first he smirks and says, you hear people say, ask so what when you do something. That never really resonated with me. I understood the point. It's for you to like elaborate. That's not what he does. He says, why does that matter to you? And I give him an answer. And then he goes, why does that matter to you? And I give him an answer. And he's like, yeah, but why do you care about that? And he unpeels the onion to get an answer about why I give a shit about what I'm doing. All right. So now I can't help with whatever I'm creating, not ask myself that 15 times with what I'm doing. So if I'm making a TikTok video, I will say, why does this matter? Why do I care? So like I just did a video on flirting. I feel like every Italian is flirting with each other, right? So it's a cute topic. But why do I care? Like, what is it? And when I unpack that and I think about it, I see two people that are so lighthearted, so in the moment, so not stressed about life that they have the wherewithal in a museum counter as I'm trying to buy a ticket to be flirting with each other. And I don't think they're going home with each other. I just think they can't help themselves. So why do I care about that? I care about that because I like lightheartedness. I like joy. I like happiness. I like being in a place where people are not pumped with adrenaline and stressed and angry and going, can I help you? And they're actually so disinterested in me that they're so happy with their own life that they're flirting with the person next to them. It's like somebody's tickling their ass with a feather. I find that to be so interesting to me. Okay, so I just unpeeled that onion for that video. When I create the video, somebody is absorbing the energy that I just thought through in that flirting video, which should be out this week, and watching it. And my hope is that somebody looked and went, oh, that's really interesting. I hadn't looked at it that way. They don't really know why they find it interesting. This guy did a bit more dissecting and going, he explained each angle that I have. But for the first time in my life, I'm looking at the company that you and I have here, and I'm saying this company that we have is designed to inspire people to redefine success for themselves. What does success look like for me? I'm somebody that's working in corporate America and I want something different. I hope that our company is helping them redefine what success could look like for them. And we happen to be using Italy to do that, but more asking why this matters. And for the first time in my life, I'm doing something not to make a buck. Do I want to make a buck? Of course I want to make a buck. Do I want to have a successful year? Do I want to have the money to be able to travel? Yes. But it's not the reason. It's not the driver. The driver is because I give a fuck. The driver is because it matters to me. The driver is because I think these nuances are actually going to help somebody's life.
Yeah. When I look at right now, our friends, acquaintances, when I look at other people in social media and I see the instance of anxiety and stress and what that's creating and how it's unfolding, and they're not taking the 6 seconds to flirt with someone. Instead, if someone flirts with them, they're telling them it's sexual harassment. Or there's so much going on, I think, in people's world that they're not paying attention to the things that truly mean something to them because they're allowing the stress to overshadow everything else in their life, and bringing it back to what truly is important, I think, is the key. Because we've always said, Rob, from the very beginning of the multiple versions of what has been us and our business, that we've always been like an aspirational brand, right? And I think that we tend to beat to our own drum. We live not within the confines of what society believes. We don't confine ourselves to, I need to get a job, take the promotion, take the next promotion, make partner, and follow this path. We don't do that. We've always done our own thing in the way that we wanted to, that meant something to us. When we had Jet Set Life, we used to have a company, if you don't know, called Jet Set Life. And we decided, this long before social media and the influencer world, we shot our own content for travel, and we traveled to 20 destinations around the world and shot our own travel show and made accompanying secret lists for them. And although it was really fun, it meant something to us because what we were doing is we were showing people that travel can enhance your life and that going to places that are not just Disneyland or an all-inclusive or on a cruise, like exploring the world, going to Brazil, going to Montevideo. God, I just pulled that out of nowhere. Going to these different unique places around the world and experiencing communities and cultures around the world can really shift and impact your life. And we were passionate about that. We were also passionate about creating a location-independent income that allowed us to live anywhere we wanted. Hence, we're here now in Europe, in Italy, living. These are things that meant something to us and we were passionate about. And that, although wasn't like the biggest success of our life, it was something that was so heartfelt, which is why it had so much traction at its time. And then we went into things that we were less passionate about because they made money. And those things, although made money, didn't fill our soul.
Okay, so let's stay right there because that's so interesting. Those things, as soon as you said it, I just got this, whatever the noise is when somebody like loses a boner. That was the voice that I got in my head. Okay, let me give you the opposite. So I'm thinking about this flirting thing, right? And I'm going, I find it fascinating that they flex this flirting muscle culturally. Like, we're not big flirters in the States. Like, people flirt.
We're a puritanical society. Look at the basis of society.
Okay, so now I've got grandmas that make me blush. Do you know what I mean? Grandma will see something, and I'll be wearing a suit or something. She's go, oh, bellissimo.
What did they do to you this morning?
So this morning I walk into the coffee shop, and the barista behind the counter, she goes, attenzione, sexy. And I was like, she literally made me embarrassed. So we've got this sexual preoccupation in the States. I'm listening to this podcast now called Exposed, which is the #1 podcast out. And it's about this crazy gynecologist. If you imagine a gynecologist doing inappropriate things, that's what he did, right? It's really insane. I won't even go into it. It's crazy what he did. And it's done by the people who create Serial. So it's like super well done. And it's compelling. So when you think about coming from a place where, you know, the Me Too movement and all the sexual problems that we have and all the sex crimes, they don't have that here, right?
Listen, to be fair, Italy has been in the news recently for some horrible sex crimes against young women in the very young category.
Here's my point. If you're looking at what people are being incarcerated for at mass, we're having a problem of that kind of thing in the U.S. They are not having that problem here. Okay, so we can take that off the table. Here's the bigger point. I don't want to go down a rabbit hole. Here's the bigger point. The bigger point is that this subject, as you can see, it's one little stupid thing on flirting. I'm interested in it. It's so interesting. I'm going, why is that? Why do they do that? Do their wives care that they do that? I've got a million questions around it. Is it me that's looking at this as bad, or do they mean anything by it? Like, I've got a zillion open-ended questions. So when I'm shooting this video, the lines that I say, the way that I say it, the tongue-in-cheekness in it bakes in all these thoughts that I have. And those thoughts then come out, and somebody, when I'm walking down the street, says, different example, I did one on a steak. Like, how do you have your steak medium well, rare, or well done? And I did a TikTok on that because I had a million questions on that. And I shared that, and somebody stopped us yesterday and they're like, saw your steak video, had the steak last night, ha ha ha. My point is, the one-dimensional thing that you talked about where we had a website on hemorrhoid cream, I didn't have a lot of opinions on it. I didn't really fucking care, okay?
Bed bugs.
Bed bugs. Like, I didn't care about it. This, I'm asking myself, and there are some times where I see something and I go, do I have questions on it? Do I care about it? Does this matter to me? And the answer is no. But then other times I'll do something and then people are saying things to me like, you're really clever with these things that you're coming up with. And it's not that I'm coming up with them. They're coming up with me. I'm observing.
Well, they're your questions, but they're meaningful. So the takeaway here is what, the listener?
The takeaway is find something that you care about. Find something that matters to you. If you are trying to build a company, why do you give a fuck about? Don't give me the mission statement. Don't tell me about how you're going to empower women. I don't care about that. I don't care about you just generally telling me I want to help women. Tell me why you give a shit. Why? What are you trying to help women do? What are you trying to help women overcome? What are you trying to be an inspiration for? Why? Why does it matter to you? Because I want women to be able to have equality in pay. I want women to feel confident in their body. Why do you give a shit about that? Because I know what it feels like to not have equal pay. I know what it feels like to be on a beach and having guys look at me and feeling judged about the way I look in a bikini. And I don't want that for them. I want them to say, you're perfect just the way you are.
So I don't even know that you realize what you unpacked there, but by saying, why does that matter to you? It brings it back to you and your personal connection to it, your personal authenticity with it, and your story, which right now, if you're trying to make any gains in business, in social media, and stuff like that, you have to be authentic. Like, it's just not going to work if you're not going back to you. So with the flirting thing, it's interesting because in our personal relationship, I could care less if someone flirts with you. We are very confident in our marriage and in our relationship. I could care less if someone flirts with you. And I also know that it must feel really nice to walk into the coffee shop in the morning and have someone say, attenzione sexy. That is something that being flirted with in a very playful, not meaning I want to sleep with you way, it makes you feel good. And I think as human beings, we all want to feel good. Look, we get up and we get dressed and put makeup on for a reason. The reason I'm going into this is because I feel like it has to draw back to you. So the question is, when you're writing the next copy for your email or your sales letter, or you're doing your next video or whatever it is, ask this question. Why does this matter to you? And keep asking that question to dig out, where is this coming from in you? Like right now, we're doing a course to move to Italy. Why does that matter to us? We could just go, because everyone's asking us. Okay. So they ask us a lot of things. Right now, everyone's asking us how much we pay in rent, which I think is hysterical on social media. But why does doing a course matter to you? Why? Because everyone's asking. Dig deeper. Why does it matter to you?
It matters because we want to give people the same shot that we had at a better life. It matters because coming here allowed us to redefine what success means to us. It matters because when you're here, you're looking beyond the American dream, as America's the greatest country in the world and there's no other country better, and you're expanding your mind into seeing that there might be other opportunities. It matters because they can come here and they can have food that doesn't have GMO filled with it. It matters because there's no school shootings that are going on. I can go on and on about why it matters. And to your point, it allows you to create content that's not about you. So when you go up and you go, it allows you to create content that's not about just buy my shit. If we get up there and say, hey, we have a course on how to move to Italy, that's one thing. If we get up there and talk about why we created the course and all those things I just mentioned, that is what connects with people. That is where somebody goes, oh, got it.
Got it. That's it. I think you're done here.
That's it, everybody. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week. Goodbye. Hey, everybody. If you've ever thought about coming to hang out with Kim and I on one of our next Rob and Kim Italia events, and you want to learn more, just click the Rob and Kim Italia link in the show notes and add your name and email, and we'll send you all the details as soon as they're available. We are obsessed with this country and how it affects you, and we want to share that magic of culture, food, wine, art, architecture, and some secret magic moments that we've cooked up with you. So be sure to add your name because these events sell out quickly.